morning, everybody. Great to see so many people here today. I'm Irene Gregory from the Institute of Marketing Management, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome all of you here today. I'm going to introduce the host to you for today, our beautiful, beautiful Nande Hedebe. Nande is an IMM graduate. She did her undergraduate qualification with us, and she has just recently qualified with her BPhil Honours in Marketing Management as well, and we hope to have her back soon for her Masters. Nande is currently her last day as a brand manager at Vodacom, and from Monday she will be the newly appointed marketing manager at MTN. And on top of that, as you can see, she's not just all intelligence and brains, but beautiful as well, as a Mrs. South Africa finalist. And the Institute is really proud to have been associated with Nande during the past couple of months and moving forward as well, and really proud to have you as an ambassador of the Institute of Marketing Management. So without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to Nande, who will introduce our guest speaker. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well this morning. I'm very excited to be the host finally. I think Irene had asked on the first month of the IMM Fridays this year, and we just couldn't get there because Mrs. SA can keep you really busy. But it's something I've always wanted to do, so thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm excited that everyone is here today. Particularly want to give a special welcome to my sister from Mrs. SA, Tsulu Peters. She's massive on TikTok, so I thought I should extend a special welcome to her. She is a fitness bunny, so if you search for her, you'll see her hopping up and down every morning and every evening. But this is not her show. Today is about a very interesting topic. I think in the marketing space is a buzzword, but most of us don't really know what to do with it most of the time. It's a very busy platform, TikTok. I did spend, I think, about 30 minutes last night just on TikTok, not really knowing what I'm looking at. It gets really busy. You will scroll until you fall asleep. So it's important to have someone to really define it to us, tell us how we can commercialize this space, how we can monetize and use it to grow our businesses, as well as make it impactful in the marketing space. I'm excited to introduce to you today our speaker. His profile is quite lengthy, so I don't want to miss a word. Our speaker today is a qualified chartered accountant. He started deploying his trade in the media world 22 years ago, but for the last 12 years, his focus has been influencer marketing and assisting businesses to grow via this exciting and fast-developing channel. He founded The Salt, which is the first to market nano-influencer channel in South Africa. It's also currently being rolled out internationally as a technology solution. Our speaker today is an experienced CEO with a demonstrated track record of working in the marketing and advertising industry. He is currently the CEO of South Africa's #1 influencer marketing group at Infinity, which helps brands to capitalize on trusted referrals through influencer marketing. The other channels include The Salt, Webfluential, EcoCast, The Internship, and Influential. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to welcome to you today, Pieter Groenewald.
Thanks, Nani. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you all. So let's get straight into it. So the areas I'm going to cover, or the sections I'm going to cover this morning, is what makes TikTok unique. Then talk a little bit about the type of content that you should play out on TikTok. And then how marketers should think about the platform like TikTok. And ultimately, what sort of content strategies you can deploy from a business perspective. And I'm mostly going to talk from our own experience, because we started working with TikTok as a channel. We just see it as another channel. but we were probably the first guys, as soon as they allowed us to monetize it locally, that started playing in that space. So we've done quite a few campaigns, we've learned a bit about it, and I'm going to share a little bit of our own insights in that regard. Okay, so what TikTok is great is it's designed for discovery. So if you go into if you've downloaded the app and you registered the profile, by the way, give it about 2 weeks, and then it will learn who you are and what you like. And from that point forward, you'll be served mostly content that you relate to. But it is a learning process, so don't hop out after 2 days and say, listen, I'm seeing a lot of stuff I don't like. It takes some time to learn. 2 weeks is a good time. But it is built for, when you turn onto it, you'll get to your For You page. And what makes it different is like Instagram and Facebook mostly shows you content of people that you're connected to. TikTok is different. It shows you content that you're interested in. So I don't necessarily have to be connected to you. If we share the same passion around content, TikTok will show me your content. That's also why it's a great platform for building audiences if you're more from a creator perspective interested in the platform. But that's it. So you come on your For You page. If you scroll up, it will be content that you like that will come through there. Then the Discovery page is it's like a search functionality on all the other platforms where you can go in and you can go and have a look what's trending. And you'll find there stuff around challenges. Challenges on TikTok is where someone's done something and the next try and do it better. And then you start creating this trend of people. I mean, there was the Flip the Bottle challenge, and there's a couple of more that's been done. So you can see what's trending there. And if your interest is the creator world of becoming a creator in this space, it's good to hop onto those trends that's existing there and then try and obviously create within that. That's a challenge page, and then you also get a sound page where the same trend, because ultimately TikTok, I mean, it was born out of a music platform, and so sound is a big issue. And that's also what you'll see later on. It's a big part of your experience on TikTok. And then you can follow certain sounds, because like with these challenges, certain sounds are being picked up, and then the trend is around the particular music, sound and video. So why is it so popular? I mean, as if you look at the growth of this channel, and I mean, as Facebook announced their results earlier this week, and they shown flat growth for the last reporting period. And one of the things that they've indicated that caused that flat growth or no growth was TikTok. And it's a new platform. It's been exposed to the Western world only for about 2-3 years now. But they've seen tremendous growth. And why is it? Because what they've allowed to do is they created this world of entertainment that you tend to go there to be entertained. It's a cinematic experience because it's full screen, sound on. It's short form video, which is definitely the trend. If you look at all the channels start going into the short term video format. But they've set the trend right up front. And the rest is now trying to cover that they don't just overtake the market in that regard. And then it's mobile only. I mean, you can go and experience it on your laptop, but no one does. It's a mobile platform, and that's where most people are experiencing it. And through that, it inspires creativity. Because before TikTok was around, we had influencers, which was mostly celebrities, that came to fame for one reason or other. And you had people that were in certain niches that had a following that followed them. But what TikTok is inspiring is creators to say, I don't really care how many people are following me. I can produce great content. And I'll put the content out on the platform, and through that people will start following. But I'm not really I don't really care about how many people following me. It's more how many people are exposed to my content. And that's where you then generate the views and obviously become a very popular creator in this space. So that's sort of the things that why it's growing so at the rate it's growing. So like I said, it's not just about inspiring creativity, it's about enabling it. The tools are built into the platform as well for creators. They probably got more tools, creator tools, than any of the other platforms. within this one app. So you can see what people are creating, and that's part of the experience. You get undivided attention. So we all sometimes sit in meetings and you scroll through your Twitter feed, even your Facebook, Instagram, sound off, no one knows you checking out those things. TikTok, you don't experience it like that. It's always sound on, otherwise the experience is nothing it should be. So for me, what makes it different, and not for me, this is based on researchers, it's the platform that no other screen is on while you're doing it. So if people are sitting in front of TV, how often do we scroll through our phones? Sound off, you just on your phone. TikTok, you'll see, that gets your attention, not the TV. Then it's sound on always. It's joyful content. Creators naturally want to inspire audiences. So you see great content. People are looking for those snippets that they can convert to a TikTok video. And it overly is more joyful than negative. Where some of the other platforms, I maintain that if you spend 15 minutes on TikTok, you're definitely in a more positive mindset than what if you've been on some of the other social media channels. And that's great for advertisers and marketers, because we want people in a good space when we engage them around our brands. And then, like I said, it's full screen video in the portrait format, and that's where you get this immersion that most of us from a brand perspective are after, that we want that quality engagement with the audience. So engagement on TikTok, there you can see the average engagement is 5.3%, 1.2% on Facebook, and then 0.09 on Instagram. It might be a little bit flawed just looking at the numbers there, but it gives you an indication, because what's happened on the other two channels from my perspective is the organic penetration of your content that you create has been tuned down by the channels. So if I, for instance, got 100,000 followers on Instagram, I might only get out to about 8 to 10,000 of them actually seeing my content. And we always measure the engagement on the opportunities to see, and not really on the amount of people that's seen it. So TikTok at this stage gives you very deep organic reach. And it's simple, because the ad rolls are not that full anymore, or it's not full yet. A lot of you are sitting here, you've heard about TikTok, but you haven't committed money to it yet. So it's an opportunity it's been for the last 6 months to 9 months, and it probably will present good value for a couple of, maybe the next year or 18 months to come. But then it will come back to where the rest of the platforms is. Because as soon as I need ad space, the first thing I do is I tune down on the organic reach of my content creators. Those people that my platform is built on are being started to be penalized. And also, because your reach goes outside your own connections, that's why you get quite wide reach on it. So it's a great platform in that regard, and that's why you're getting these high engagement rates. Okay. Then in terms of interest, it's a fantastic platform to go and research, because you've got all the different verticals covered there. It doesn't matter if it's food, business, financial tips. Doesn't matter what you're in. What your business is in, go and look on the discovery page, start searching these trends and see what's happening there. If your business is marketing, my philosophy is you should be, I'm slightly older than most in this room, but I'm on all these platforms. And I always say to my kids, you social media users, I'm only interested in what it can do for the business. But you should be on these platforms. You can't say, listen, I'm not on them, I'm not interested, because how would you really be able to advise your business on what to follow? But lots of trends here. What's interesting for me is like around business, personal finance, and things like that, which we find it hard on the other platforms to find voices of authority. But in this space, you find them. And they are really creators that are sharing their knowledge through this to all ages. The other thing is there's a misconception that TikTok is for the youngsters. It's not really. The stats are showing you they're covering all the age groups now. So the secret about TikTok is not to make ads. It is about make TikToks. You want to fit your brand into the experience as much as possible, that you don't smell and look like a ad. That's the secret about this channel. I'm going to show you a couple of examples here. So if we take, for instance, this was around, these are two guys that are quite popular in the creator space. Oh, by the way, not a lot of your traditional Instagram, Facebook, Twitter influencers have jumped across. There's a whole new world of creators sitting on TikTok because it's quite hard. Think about it. If you've become popular on Instagram, you've got a following, it's quite hard now to move off that channel and start the whole process again. So that's what's quite good for us from a creator economy perspective. Lots of new creators here. So I'll just show you here to look especially out for the difference between an ad and a user agenda, or what we call a creator piece of content.
I get the model girl tall, put that body on call. I took the honey on top, I put the money on top. I put the money on. That she falling in love. Said she feeling my G, she feeling my style, she loving my touch. Take it low, your waist is taking over. Baby, good, rotate, baby, shoulder. Let's go.
Okay, so that's Chad Jones. Very much in music, aligned to this sort of experience. And then what you've seen there is, this is not a production that took a month or 2 months. You literally turn this around where you brief him on a Monday morning, you get the product to him, and by the first day you've got a piece of content that you can show your client, and by the Friday it goes live. At a fraction of the cost that traditional production will cost you, but still high quality as a result of what's been built in. Plus, Chad sees himself as really a creator now. You look the guy next to it, I actually follow this guy.
1, 2, get down. Ready to call to be the boss. Wanna rock your body, please stay. That's me.
Dance for me, oh.
So what makes the second guy amazing is his whole thing is about clothing trends that he's sharing with people. So now, when he got briefed around this, because of his creative ability, he thought, okay, let me bring music into my normal sort of content so that I don't sort of distance my audience from me, but I keep it within that theme. And that's one of the big lessons in this space is you don't brief these creators to say, go and do the following for me. If you want to do that, go and create your own brand ads. Allow them the freedom. Because first of all, they know better than you what their audience would like and what their audience would engage in. Secondly, they value their audience much more because remember, that's their asset, the people that they're entertaining through this platform. Here's another one. This was something around 60-60. Obviously a little bit more fun brought in, so you're more linked to people that's got a funny...
We out in nappies, my wife's not happy. Let's go 60-60. The dog don't have chow, he wants it now. Let's go 60-60. The formula's clear, the baby is not. Let's go 60-60. So many meetings, what are we eating? Let's go 60-60. Saves me so much time, hey, I forgot time. Let's go 60-60.
And then obviously Bo Bosch, I think this platform was made for him in terms of his ability.
No more toothpaste, ugh, what a waste.
Let's go 60-60.
Want to make bread, eat flour instead.
Let's go 60-60.
Again, it's content that's been created by these guys, turn around rather quickly, distribute it, and it takes a lot of pressure off the brand to actually come up with content in a very content-hungry world we're living in. So what we encourage brands is always to say today, put a portion of your communication in the hands of people. It's after all these social platforms is around social tribes and being connected to another one. So it's another example here. This was where we had to, it's a music platform, where we then had to encourage downloads of the platform. So just as a thought and just leaving it with you for now, all these things are very measurable because the ultimate goal of 6060 was to download the app. On this Deezer, the same thing. On the King Price site, which I'll show you now, is to generate a lead. And all these things are very measurable through the platform. So it's not like you're just creating ads or TikToks. You actually got a ROI measurement that you report to at the end of a campaign. So what you'll see is all these ads, they fit those guys that put up their hands that's on TikTok. This is the kind of content that you expect to get there. So it's not like you'll be skipping the ad. You experience it in its natural environment, and as a result of that, you get all the other benefits of your resonance of your ads. Then the financial sector is probably one of the channels that get limited on the ability to spend their money on the traditional, the Instagram and the Facebook and those channels. So they were quick to hop onto this platform as another avenue. And they've actually seen phenomenal results in this space. And I'll just share one or two.
Charlie, now that you have started driving, we're going to put you on the insurance and it's going to be so expensive. Mama, don't worry. Yesterday when I was on the internet, I came across King Price Insurance. They're the only insurance that will decrease your monthly premium. Hey, so you're telling me that the longer I'm with them, the less I will pay? You know what, Mama? You can get a quote right now online. It takes less than 2 minutes. Hey, they're the kings of insurance indeed.
So I'm not going to play the next one. So yeah, there you get a sense of what you create. The platform allows you to put your brand ads out, but you'll quickly realize they won't perform as well as when you go with creator-led content. That's what it's been built for. Okay, so what does it mean to think like a marketer and act like a creator? It's a world where it rules to be real. And that's what so you can understand the process if you identified people that you want to do a brand collaboration with. Now you need to tell them about your product, and then you need to take that bold step of giving them freedom to create the content. By the way, there's always the opportunity to pre-approve your content. We just caution clients to not go into then trying to script a agency production of an ad. That's not the purpose of this. The first rule is value authenticity when deciding what brands they like. 9 out of 10 people. The word authenticity is what this creator economy is all about. How close can I link you to the right person where my brand message will resonate with? And secondly, how can that individual take the messaging out in a way that there's a level of believability to their particular audience when they see the message? The other win is trust organic user-generated content more than your traditional brand. It's a different way of communicating. We all know the challenges of brand communication, and this is different. So trust that user-generated content. Also what you do is you never take a bet on one piece of content. You normally deploy on any campaign a few of these creators. And we've tried to, in our organization, often sit back and which one would be the winner. You never know. You take a bet on 4 or 5 pieces, and 2 of them will knock it out. And if you say why, you won't know why. It's just that's how hard it is. And that always makes me think how hard it is for a brand to pick a winner. You know, because in a boardroom, we all think as winners. But when it actually starts performing, you might not get the same result. And then the last thing, say that TikTok is a place where people can openly express themselves. And that's what you've seen in those examples I've put through. All of them very much linked to their normal topics and the way they engage with their audiences. A big thing is you don't look for perfection. That's not what we're after, and I've mentioned it a few times. We actually call it flawsomeness, and that's across the whole creator economy, is where that realness comes in. It's not perfection, but flawsomeness is what we relate to. And you always take your own experience. What do I scroll through? What do I click past? And what do I engage with? And this flawsomeness is such a good way of explaining what we do when we involve the brands in these communication processes. Then behind TikTok sits this is a lot of detail here. But like all the other platforms, they've got their ad set capability. And you've got different things. If it's their awareness, like I said earlier on, they offer great value at this stage for the next couple of months. But it's not a channel, and that's my view on it, it's not a channel for brand advertising. You can have an element of that. So if you put 10-20% of your TikTok budget on brand advertising, great, measure it. But start off with 80% on the creator side and see how that performs. If that outperforms, it makes it very easy to make a decision where to from here. But very important, we don't rely on any TikTok campaign to organically be a success, purely because you don't know. So what we do is we do take control of the distribution of the content. So a creator might have 100,000 followers. He posts it out. We look how it performs. We add it to an ad set, and then we distribute it. Very cost effective to distribute it. And you get a very good balance between your cost to invent in the creative versus an equal amount to be spent on the distribution of it. Because ultimately, distribution, the amount of people that sees it, will drive your business objectives. Now, in the old days, we tend to have just relied on the organic reach of these creators. And then the campaigns didn't always work well, because you just don't know which one of them will take off. So you need to complement every campaign with an element of taking that content and then boosting it. We call it distribution and performance marketing behind it. And that then drives the real business objectives for you. If you get good organic views, 2 weeks ago I had a video that got 1.2 million views, which was great for me. But that's not what that is just an added advantage and made the campaign even perform better. But this distribution of the ads within the ad set is very important for this platform. Similarly to Instagram and Facebook, you do exactly the same. And then the power of trend advertising is that's why I say you spend time on these platforms, because you can see what type of trends start forming. And this was a classical example for me. This guy, Dogface, he was sort of a nobody. And then he got onto a skateboard one morning, his car broke down, and he was actually going to work. And he created this TikTok. And the juice he was drinking was a juice called Ocean Spray. And the music for those youngsters in the room, this was in 1977. This was a top of the chart hit, Fleetwood Mac, and it was on their Mirrors album, top hit, 1977. So immediately after this video, and again, you can't explain why it happened, but it just took off. So the next thing was 585,000 videos was regenerated, where people were on skateboards and drinking this particular juice. Mick Fleetwood, the guy from the original band, he jumped onto it and he created a TikTok around it. Then the celebrities jump on it. You know, you got Shakira, she jumped onto it and created the same around the spray. And ultimately, the CEO of the company also created a TikTok around it. And look at these, 3.8 million views on his, 17.2 million views on Shakira's, and then Mick got 17 million views. And they could pick up an immediate tick up in their sales. So I mean, it was sold in retail stores, but they could pick it up. And then for me, 16.1 million downloads of the song. And it got right back in the top 10 again. And this was in 2020 of a song that no one has ever heard of. And no one's ever heard of the band. And that's the power of TikTok. That's just a fascinating story for me. Now, they didn't know beforehand that it would be such a hit. I mean, no one knew it. Afterwards, the guy was contracted. He got vehicles. They pulled him in. And he became like a brand ambassador for the brand. But this is not the only example. There's quite a few, if you go and research it, where a creator jumped on and got a brand organically involved in the conversation, and then a brand reached out to them and said, listen, let's make some magic together. And then from a content strategy for brands, so what you'll see here, as I touched on it earlier, is you've got your organic beats. That is what you organically reach through your piece of content. Then what you've got is you've got your paid peaks. That's where we take those ads or those user-generated content pieces and you convert them into ads. Very cost-effective way of distributing it, talking about anything from 10 to maybe 20 at the max cost per 1,000. I mean, if you think about it, you can't even hand out leaflets at a traffic light for 20 Rand 1,000. It's impossible. So digital media gives you that benefit. And then the last thing is these creator partnerships. Is that if you've aligned with them, some of them will be gold. That's where you start forging more longer-term partnerships with them. But you don't have to do it from day one. First, understand how it's working for your brand, and then doesn't matter if you pull 3 or 4 out and you say, I've got a close relationship with them. Continuously get new ones involved in your communication. And that 360 solved there is where the magic lies. This is also, and then be proactive, and that's following the trends. And this is now, I mean, a year ago, if I presented it, everyone would be on the money with it. But this is still a great way for me of picking it up. So this is, I mean, as we all had to start wearing masks, and immediately they realized this puts the focus on the eyes. And there they quickly launched the campaign for Maybelline. Oh, by the way, is what you've seen there, for instance, is where it does work from a brand perspective. If you get the creator content and you then smash it together in your brand ad, that's when it works. So like if you take that ShopRite 6060, they actually as a brand took those individual pieces and put them together, and that became their brand ad. And that actually worked quite well because they leaned into the creator content for their own ad purposes. So yeah, this is follow, be proactive. So in short, to close off, it's all about be real, be proactive. That's why you have to be on the platform. Be fun. We go there to be entertained. Don't change that for us as a user of the platform. Be personal, be naive, and be inclusive. And the inclusivity you get is by utilizing an array of these creators in the mix, because they all appeal to different audiences and different groupings, etc. Key takeaways quickly from my side. You think engagement, not followers. Because like I said, this platform distributes beyond who's connected to you. Embrace realness and imperfection. That's okay. You'll see some of these ads that you wanted to shelf as a brand actually end up outperforming anything else. And don't try and judge it. It's impossible to judge these things. Jump on trends and cultures. Get involved in culture. I think it used to be, no, it's still, Nando's is very good at that in their communication. There's a gap in this particular platform for brands to hop on there. I think King Price is doing it quite good in this space as well. Creators are key to the TikTok performance. It's not a channel for brand ads. I've mentioned it a few times, don't make that mistake. And then you can experiment. If you think about the access to content here, how cost effective it is, you can really experiment around this of what works for your brand and what doesn't work, etc. So yeah, that's at the end of the day, that's TikTok. I hope after this all of you will download the app and go and play around a little bit with it. Not sure there's...
Thank you so much, Peter. I will open the floor for questions if there are any questions. I think I can just take this around for any questions.
Advert. Oh, sorry. So must I just repeat? How do you know which creator to use for your specific? Well, we don't call it ad. TikTok. TikTok.
So the starting process with any sort of creative collaboration is to understand what is the brand about. So if you're into fitness, then you know I need to go into the vertical of fitness. Who's in that vertical? And then through technology, you actually got easy to access who's the players in that field. Then the next step is to go and look at their current content. And you have a little bit of a look at who's got good engagement with their audiences, because ultimately their current content becomes their CV, what they potentially can do for you. And then the third thing is to go and have a look at their historical engagement with brands, because you want to make sure they weren't linked to a competitor product or someone that's close to you. And that then is where you start reaching out to them. If they're on a platform already listed through the platform, you contact them and say, I've got the following collaboration. This is the timelines, this is the mood board, and then the whole process kicks off. So it's that authenticity is the big thing, aligning also for the creator that your product resonate with their audiences, because then it's easy for them to create the content. So that's why I always caution at the start of your process to start calling out names, who I want to use. First, get your strategy in place, and then get someone to assist you with what's in the field that will fulfill the strategy. Because if you start calling out names early on in the process, it limits you with the rest of your execution.
So I wanted to find out, with regards to the different platforms. So Facebook, during the Facebook era, used to be very much about the community and about events, and it became very much a popular platform for that sort of thing, where it was more groups of people. So you joined clubs, you became a member. It was built around the communities. With Instagram, people didn't want to talk a lot, so they weren't interested in the discussions and the like all the comments and the reviews, etc. So Instagram was more about what you perceive from an image perspective. And then what had happened was, what grew big with Instagram is that you could link it to shopping. So you could swipe up to go into the Bitly links and shop products instantaneously. And then with regards to TikTok, I know that when it became big, it was perceived as a very humorous platform because of the entertainment value. And I know that's obviously evolving, but my question is, with regards to TikTok, because it is predominantly a younger sort of market, how does one, as a corporate or as a brand, sort of trust the platform in order for you to get your ROI? Because I feel like from a brand awareness perspective, yes, you're going to reach, hundreds of thousands, depending on how much you put into it, or millions, depending on the creators that you use. But how do you then kind of monetize it or get your ROI from it? Because just because you get all the views doesn't necessarily equate to any conversion. So what are your comments on that? Thank you.
So the answer is twofold here. Twofold. I think as TikTok was strategically very clever. If you think about the Facebook era, like I've indicated earlier on, slightly older, then their secondary platform becomes Instagram. Facebook bought Instagram, so now they've got two generations of people captured on social media. Where TikTok then went and said, listen, it's going to be very hard to pull them across. Let's go and capture the younger part of the audience, because they're not entirely comfortable on the Instagram. So they started off by pulling the youngsters in there, but then the other age group followed. So the same targeting tools you've got within Facebook and Instagram, you've got behind your paid media for TikTok as well. So you can aim at an audience of say 35 plus, and then your ads will only be, or that user-generated content will only be served to them. And ultimately, the proof is in the pudding in terms of the type of leads that comes in. If you're a financial or an app download, who's downloading it, who's registering and stuff like that. And the outcomes prove that they do serve their ads to the right people. My personal observation is the platform is so good at entertaining you that you get the views much more cost effective than the other platforms. But when they need to click out to go and pursue the consumer journey on a website and stuff, they don't leave the platform that easily. But because of the benefit of the cost effectiveness of getting the impression, although you get a lower click-through rate, it's still very cost effective in that regard. So the targeting tools are there exactly like the other platforms, and ultimately the results, the leads that you generate, those things speak for itself.
Now, I'm just very curious about the, if you've got an brand ambassador strategy, is there some examples of brand ambassadors effectively going onto TikTok and creating good content? And then alternatively to that, I guess it's hunting on TikTok for a suitable brand ambassador.
Yeah, so again, I think as we started with influencers became ambassadors. I think today's world is you go and you've got your ambassadors. A company like Discovery got their brand ambassadors. Don't try and make them influencers. It's not natural for them. They link to your brand for another reason. If you're then looking for putting a portion of your communication in the hand of creators, go and look for the best in class there. That's their core. And some of them might over time then evolve into more ambassador role, especially for like beauty brands and things like that, but it very much depends on the vertical. So I think it's also what you see is that your macro influencers today, there's a trend to start using smaller influencers, your micro and your nanos, because of giving you that authenticity. And the macro start positioning them more to brand alignment, where they become involved in the brand. If you think of on an international scale, George Clooney, Ryan Reynolds with his gin, Colin McGregor, they get involved straight at the brand level and in the profitability of the brand. And then because you can't pay them for what they do, it's just too expensive at that level. So yeah, I think the short answer is ambassador, you can't turn into creator necessarily.
How's it? This marketing is very young and gritty and fresh, exciting. It's great, and these are largely business to consumer-based marketing. Are there people doing this on a business-to-business level, and are there ways and tactics around it, or is it the same?
Yeah, my personal view, again, is business to business is very hard in the influencer channel. Many people have tried, and there's different levels of success. But the one thing that's lacking is authenticity. So what you'll find is it's hard to find an influencer to talk about a B2B product. And then on all these channels to go and find a B2B audience is very hard. So there's a lot of wastage involved. I always say to brands, if they're a B2B business, your biggest influencer base sits inside your organization. Convert your employees to employee advocates that digitally become more visible because they're already connected to the right networks and they offer incredible value for B2B sort of businesses at a fraction of the cost.
I do agree. I think it's a great idea and good plan. So if you look at your example where you had the guy on the skateboard, right? Now, you increase the demand for the product, but as a business, that really doesn't solve a lot of your problem. Could someone not spin that into increasing your distribution structure? So if now this product is now trending everywhere, how do you use that to to increase the scope and the reach of your distribution platform by having new people apply and curate?
Yeah.
Because that would massively increase your
But
sales.
don't the demand necessarily put pressure on your distribution network. So if people walk into a store and say, listen, have you got Ocean Spray here? I don't have. And the second or the third person asks for it, the next day you're going to go and ask, where can I get this product? People are looking for it. So I would think as created demand and the distribution will follow. And that's a great way of increasing your distribution network versus first having distribution in place and not having demand. So I would think an opportunity like this, if I was that business, I would have loved the opportunity on all the demand just to get to my product to more places.
Especially with Beetroot on there, you've got all the people who effectively own the distribution channels watching.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Good morning. I just wanted to touch on your earlier points about B2B businesses using the platform and also using people inside of the organization to represent the business on the platform. My only question is, well, I represent a company that is B2B, and we also offer marketing services to the companies that we're partnered with, and we're only just starting to embrace TikTok amongst all our other platforms, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. But with TikTok, you covered the fact that TikTok is an app where you can have fun, be creative, and allow the creator to create the content that resonates with their audience. And with the people in our company, the managers, the managing directors, the CEO, they're very, they're very not open to even showing their faces or displaying their personality on the platform. So how do people like me convince them that, hey, yo, TikTok is a place to have fun? Use the platform to express the better part of yourself on the platform and at the same time represent your company.
Mr. Ellis 2022. but besides that, I think is what these channels, and for B2B, LinkedIn is where you got to play for that. But all these channels allow you to start at a very small scale. So if I had a boss that wasn't open to this, I'll go and motivate for a test, because that's how this works. You test it, you fine tune, and then you start pulling more money or budget from other places. So the idea is to first show him at a small sort of scale, it's working. Because that's the proof is in the pudding. And if it's working, done right, because that's the problem, is you get one chance to try an influencer channel. If you haven't done it right now, you can't show the results. Now you won't get convinced that individual again. So make sure you do it in the right way so that you can prove results. And then any businessman, if I see results, I'll give you more money. Plus, you become a rock star in the organization. So
Understood. And I just have a second question for the crowd. Can you guys put your hands up if you actually have TikTok, if you don't mind? All right, so I wrote my TikTok handle on here, so can I can I pass it around and just get some followers? Because I just got TikTok like a couple of weeks ago, so I'll just pass it around. Yeah. Thank you.
Well done. We have a marketer in the house. There's just one more question. Okay, two more questions. We'll start here.
I just need to know, what is the legal landscape look at if you identify a creator and want to use material attached to your product or NGO or brand? What is the process? Things that we need to know maybe on the legal landscape. I don't know if you can just use and abuse.
Okay, so the biggest thing on TikTok is the music. So they've got a huge bank of music. If you use that music, it means the music rights is in place through the platform. Secondly, the content that's created is created by the creator, and he's given you the usage of it on the platform. If you want to take that content and you say, right, I want to make it part of my corporate brochures, then what we do is you need to also contract for the usage rights, which comes at an additional charge, but it gives you then access to the usage of it for a period of time across multiple platforms. Your problem is with TikTok and their music, if you take that content and you now distribute it through Instagram, for instance, the music rights are not secure there, and then it will be pulled from that flight. So what you'll see is that most of your TikTok videos are actually going through WhatsApp and groups like that being distributed, because Facebook and Instagram and even Twitter won't flight it because of that music issue. And if they do it without the music, it loses all the effectiveness of it. So that's what we call a creative collaboration, what you need to do, what I'm paying you for that, and then what are the other conditions to this.
There's no doubt TikTok has got an amazing platform. There's creators that have got 17 million views on a video, which is way better than any SABC generations could get you on one night. However, how do you manage risks? And there's two risks that I'd like to try and understand. One, because you're dealing with people, you're not 100% sure what that content creator may do in their personal life. And two, how do you manage them not jumping between multiple brands?
So yeah, as influencer marketing always comes with that risk. But I think as this creator economy is starting to take off, the individuals knows that my personal brand is linked to my professional brand in a big way. But it doesn't take the risk out completely. I mean, there is an element of risk. It's the same if you sponsor a soccer team or a rugby team. It happens. My personal experience with it is the risk is far less than what we think it is. So now you got to weigh up, do I take that risk versus the benefits, or do I stay out of this place because of the risk? And I think overwhelming with the growth in the sector, a lot of brands are taking the call, let me manage this right. Then in terms of brand exclusivity, that's part of the contractual obligation. So if you can't always find on the content on their walls if they've been involved with another brand. So what we do in our organization, we get the declaration as part of the contract, and then for the contract period and a period thereafter, you contract that you won't engage in another brand. It's then really up to you. And again, 99% of the times the creators are honoring that. Because the platforms that's developed to manage these relationships with them, it's got very similar to Airbnb and Uber, got review systems. And you can't afford a negative review on your profile because that will limit your monetization of the next possible collaboration. So I think these are all the tools that's been built in. It's getting better and better to have a really nice experience around these sort of engagements.
How many more questions can we take?
Yeah, behind you.
2 more. Okay, we'll start here.
How in trouble is traditional media in regards to this? I mean, they've been saying it's going to be in trouble for a while now. I mean, TV's been taking quite some hits. Newspapers have taken hits. This doesn't really help them as much, but I'm not complaining. I'm in a digital field, so. But how in trouble is traditional media, especially with the fact that in a week's time you can have 17 million views. So they mentioned that you're not going to get that on SABC. You're definitely not going to get that on DSTV either. So how in trouble is traditional media?
Yeah, I don't really want to talk for traditional media, but I'm glad I'm in this space. And the trajectory we're seeing is definitely some mainstream money is coming into the space. It's not only shifting within digital. And it's because it offers great value, very measurable results. I think if you go into the measurability is the key thing here, is that the media types that cannot be measured in terms of success is the ones that will start finding it quite tough to motivate for bigger budgets. But the creator economy is where the boom is the fact that that's the biggest shift, that where we always felt like creative belongs to agencies, big brands, and things like that. Now, Facebook's growth didn't come because the big brands gave them more money. Facebook allowed the local hair salon to be able to advertise. That's where your growth is coming from. And the creator economy means that that local hair salon can now activate some of their customers to be their creators and then distribute the content. So everyone can make use of this channel, and that's where the growth of it sits.
Thank you very much for the insightful presentation. As a next step for potential advertisers, where would we access TikTok stats?
Yeah, I mean, that's our business, so you can reach out to me. And I can help you with the few next steps in the process. So that's my caution to you, is that if you want to embark on this, and my point here is that we often walk into rooms where people said, we've tried influencer marketing and it didn't work. And there's normally 3-4 questions that we ask as a counter to that. And if 99% of the time all 4 is being answered no, 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 then you haven't really done influencer marketing. You've tried an influencer 101 that worked back in 2015, you've tried that approach. It's become a very skilled, where lots of technology is deployed and things like that. So if you get the opportunity to do it, start with experts helping you initially, and you can rather down the line decide to bring it in-house. But very few people will bring it in-house. But don't start with it in-house, because you're going to blow your chance of, like I said earlier on, to become a rock star. So
I don't know if we can still, because there was more than one hand up before.
Yeah, no.
Okay, let's do. So there was the one other hand that was up before you, sir. Or we can just do the one more, and then we will officially close off the questions.
Thank you. So my question is more to the IMM. I've attended a couple of these Friday sessions, and I think there's a lot of good content that is being shared. I would like to know, where can we obtain these recordals?
With pleasure. We will be broadcasting next week Friday at 11 o'clock. We'll be broadcasting the recording of this presentation, and it will then also be available on YouTube after that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you so much, Peter. This has been most insightful. There's a little token of appreciation. Before you go, Peter, a little token of appreciation from the IMM team.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Peter and I had a bit of a long chat before we started. And obviously, me being in brand for the past 7 years, I'm very guilty of wanting to allocate all my budgets on TV, because that's what makes you clever in the boardroom. And so it's very important for us to continue as marketers and business people to have such forums. And thank you so much again, Irene, because like Peter said, we do get very clever in the boardrooms and forget what exactly it is that the customers want. So I hope this forum grows. It is exactly for this purpose, for us to regroup and really grow the profession and also award ourselves for the great work we do. Now we just need to check who exactly has been listening. Just after we close off, we will run a bit of a challenge as IMM. So what we will do is to ask each and every one of you, if you can please just record with the help of IMM, a 15-second video that will be flighted on TikTok. What you will do is to let us know what it is that you learned today that you didn't know before. If you knew everything about TikTok, you're welcome to dance. All of this content will be living on the IMM TikTok platform. And once it's shared, please do repost and tag IMM Fridays. Thank you so much.
Nandi, thank you so much for being such a beautiful and eloquent host. We really do appreciate it. I've got a little something for you. I'll give it to you when we're done, but thank you so much. As Nandi said, we want to see you all up on the stage just now. our videographer, is that what we call you? Will be videoing you on the stage against this banner, and we will post them onto the IMM TikTok page. And as Nandi said, we ask you then to share and to use the hashtag IMM Fridays. And also, those of you who are not yet associates of the Institute, we please welcome you to join us. There is a computer outside in reception if you would like to do it straight away. Otherwise, you can go onto our webpage, imminstitute.co.za, and join there. There are many benefits, both for individuals and for corporates. And corporate companies who join, you do get an individual associateship along with that. So please encourage your companies to join us as either a silver, gold, or platinum member with varying benefits. It is all on our website, or you can chat to us outside and find out a little bit more. And we hope to see you back here the last Friday of next month. Thank you all so much for attending. There are some eats and drinks outside. Please network and chat to all the fellow marketers around you. And yes, please get something to eat, something to drink, come back up here and come and do your little bit on the stage. And we will post that onto our TikTok page. Thank you so much. Thanks once again. Bye-bye.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say.